I call the regular council meeting to order for Monday, October 6, 2025. Before we get underway, we'd like to acknowledge this council meeting is being held on the homeland of the Tanaka people. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda of the regular council meeting of Monday, October 6, 2025? Councillor Popoff, Councillor Ray. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Can I get a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of Monday, September 29, 2025? Mover, Councillor Stetsky, Councillor Bissett. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. First bylaw tonight is from our Finance Department regarding the annual taxation exemption bylaw. We have Charlotte on hand to review the report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This report seeks 3 readings of the annual taxation exemption bylaw to grant permissive tax exemptions for 2026. Council considers applications for permissive tax exemptions from charitable and not-for-profit organizations that provide specific services to the community. Per permissive property tax exemption policy number 40-550, exemptions may be granted under the following categories: special needs and supportive housing properties, social service properties, arts and cultural facilities, emergency rescue services, places of worship, land surrounding places of worship, athletic or recreational facilities, and environmental protection. Permissive tax exemptions are granted by bylaw, which must be adopted and forwarded to BC Assessment Authority prior to October 31st. At the September 29th regular meeting of Council, staff presented the list of applicants for Council's consideration. There were no requested changes to the list that was presented. The bylaw is now ready to be presented for 3 readings.
Thank you, Charlotte. Can I get a motion? The council give first reading to the annual taxation exemption bylaw number 4217/2025. Councillor Bissett, Councillor Stetsky. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Can I get a motion? The council give second reading to the annual taxation exemption bylaw number 4217/2025. Councillor Ray, Councillor Popoff. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. And can I get a third reading to the annual taxation exemption bylaw 4217/2025? Councillor Stetsky, Councillor Peabody. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Next up is a bylaw from our Engineering and Development Service Department regarding an OCP and zoning amendment for the BC Builds Baker Garden project. I'll ask staff to give a review. We've got somebody online here.
Hello, good evening, Mayor and Council.
Hi, Santana, the floor is yours.
Thanks. The OCP amendment, bylaw 4220 and 4221 are before you tonight for consideration to increase the allowable density for the Baker Gardens BC Build site. The official community plan bylaw 4220 is to increase the land use designation from medium density to high density. And then the subsequent zoning bylaw amendment number 4221 is to allow that density through the zoning regulation. So it would be to increase change the minimum permitted density from 26 units to, from 20 units to 26 units, and then increase the maximum permitted density from 30 units to 40 units. In addition, it would amend the minimum parking requirements for this area C to align with all the other areas within the CD4 zone. The application is before you tonight to facilitate a highest and best use of the BC Builds site, and this will align with their pro forma and make it a more successful project.
Thanks very much, Santana. Can I get a motion that council gives second reading to the City of Cranbrook official community plan, our Path to Cranbrook 2042 amendment bylaw number 4220/2025, and schedule the public hearing for 6 p.m. on October 20th, 2025. Mover, please. Councillor Blissett, Councillor Ray. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Can I get a motion that council give first reading to City of Cranbrook zoning bylaw amendment number 4221, 2025. Mover, please, Councillor Ray, Councillor Popoff. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you. Can I get a motion that council gives second reading of the City of Cranbrook zoning amendment bylaw number 4221, 2025 and schedule the public hearing for 6 p.m. on October 20th, 2025. Councillor Stetsky, Councillor Brissette. Discussion? Discussion, Councillor Popoff. Councillor Stetsky.
Thank you, Mayor. Crystal balls are always interesting to look into. When might there be shovels in the ground, do you think, and that could go to our CAO or to you, Santana?
Councillor Stetsky, through the chair. Through the BC Builds program, it is a requirement that the project reach occupancy within 24 months. So from the date of the lease signing, which we're going to finalize after, should council approve these amendments, that will be the next step. And then 24 months maximum from that date.
Further, council? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thanks for the good work, Santana. Much appreciated.
Great. Thanks. Have a good night.
You as well. We have two items on new business for consideration tonight. The first one is from our Rec and Culture Department regarding Rock the Kootenays 2026. Trevor's on hand to give us a bit of a review.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So tonight we bring to you the possible plans for Rock the Kootenays 2026, and just looking for a decision from Council on moving forward. So Rock the Kootenays has been Cranbrook's classic rock festival for the last 3 years. And over the 3 years, bringing in approximately $2.5 million worth of economic spin-off. And the past 3 iterations have been what we would call very successful, with the city bringing in a shared profit of $150,000 in year 1, netting Cranbrook $77,000. In 2024, $133,000 profit, and in 2025, a $14,000 loss. In the industry, a $14,000 loss would almost be considered a win, based on the volatility of the festival itself and shaping how the ticket sales were looking prior to the event in 2025. 6 weeks out, we were looking at not a good situation financially, and luckily with the help of local media markets and the citizens rallying together, we did sell a lot of tickets in those last 6 weeks, especially in the week or two right up to the event. It's nice that we did that. It's also very difficult on your well-being, per se, when you're looking at how do you plan for something that you just gained 1,000 attendees in 6 weeks. So everything has to be altered, from saving money to now still putting on a show that has those great operational and functional parts and pieces. So moving forward, staff had already looked at ways of evolving the festival itself. So we've gotten to a point where we're very efficient operationally. So our overhead costs are as tight as possible. And then developing your biggest cost offset and finding ways of minimizing that or maximizing that, per se, is the artist fees. They've risen significantly over the past 3 years, and they're not going to go down. They're going to continue to rise. And how would we continue to make this event successful, knowing that your ticket fees can't go much higher than where they already are, but your artist fees are going to continue to go up. So looking at ways of finding lesser expensive or alternative bands to fill in those quieter times during the opening of the show, and then have your main headliners on, or even looking at an iteration of a 2-day festival, which you do see some festivals now going to that 2-day. Rock the Kootenays guests or concert goers are not all youthful, so the endurance of a 3-day show is tough for a lot of people. So there is that other option of looking at going to a 2-day show.
Thanks, Trevor. So I've got a few possible motions here. I'll read them out, and if somebody decides which option they'd like. Number one, council approved the request. Staff move forward with Rock the Kootenays 2026 with the city of Cranbrook hosting a 3-day festival. Second option is approve the request. Staff move forward with Rock the Kootenays 2026 with the city of Cranbrook hosting a 2-day festival. And thirdly, decline the request. Staff do not move forward with Rock the Kootenays 2026. Councillor Stetsky.
I'd like to put forward option 1, but have some discussion on it for sure.
Okay, option 1. Open it to the floor. Councillor Stetsky.
When I was looking at the options, my concern is, will people come to Cranbrook for a 2-day festival? I know that just personal information, there's a group of about 8 people that come from Lethbridge every festival, and they love it, love being here. And I haven't contacted them to see whether they would come for a 2-day festival, but I'm interested in what you think in terms of people coming. And if it's a 2-day festival, how would it be structured so that we still get 3 days worth of accommodations paid? Because we want to keep that income coming into the city in general.
Thank you. Trevor.
Mayor Price through Councillor Stetsky. It's an excellent question. And that, it's tough to say right now how we would get 3 days worth of stays in a 2-day festival. We have 11 bands at play over the 3 days right now. If we went to 2 days, would it be 7? Would it be 8? Would it be 9? I would still be to be determined. A lot of festivals that are successful with the 2-day format still run 11 bands, and it starts earlier and ends later. If the festival, as you saw in the report that we did initially look at a Friday, Saturday, I don't know if you could start any earlier than 3 or 4 o'clock on the Friday. And if we went to a Sunday, and then it's that travel day out. So Lethbridge is a close proximity for people to go home to and still go to work on Monday. But so those are some of the factors that would have to be in play if we did go to a 2-day. Would it be eliminating one whole day? So if we eliminated Sunday, would it go from 11 bands to 7? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that would be the best way to utilize 2 days of space on that.
Okay, we're going to go around the table, I think. Councillor Peabody.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I ask my question, just a point of order. Did anyone second that motion?
Pardon me?
Did anybody second the motion? Rounded? Okay, perfect. Sorry, Trevor. How'd the numbers look between the 3 days as far as the number of people that went? Was it pretty consistent between the 3 days, or were some days stronger than others?
Mayor Price, City Councilor Peabody, 100% Saturday is the strongest day. That is where we're packed every year. Our busiest day is Saturday. So it's the outlier. Is it the Friday that they join with, or is it the Sunday they join with? But even going back to Councillor Stetsky's comment about 3 days versus people that buy a 2-day package, it's probably 50-50 that buy a 3-day versus buy a single day or 2 single days. We did run a promo this last year that if you bought Sunday, you got Friday for free. We had a massive uptake on that, but then we also sold that Saturday in the middle as a single ticket. So yes, you saved money off the 3-day pass. It was only available for, I can't remember if it was Mother's Day or Family Day weekend or a particular period of time, but we did go through a lot of sales on just that package.
Yeah, and supplemental, if I may. So like seeing that just the ticket sales tickets aren't selling themselves. So we have to push a little bit harder to get that ticket sales going. If we do the 3-day festival, what are you looking at doing to encourage more people to buy tickets?
Mayor Price, City Councilor Peabody, great question. Our biggest loss, I guess, of this past year was our lack of social media and accountability for 365 days. We do have, paid marketing plans, but they're sporadic and designed to be heavy when the on sales are happening and heavy when the event's on. But we need that constant reminder, 365 days leading up to the event, and looking at hiring a firm to do this with us. We have a local firm that we've already discussed this with to bring on board. Staff just don't have the time to deal with this aspect of it.
Councillor Bissett.
Thank you. I was going to move about the 2-day festival. 3 days is a lot, particularly when it means possibly taking Friday and Monday off work, which somebody who's traveling a distance and still in the work world would have to do. I've attended different festivals, and certainly the 3 days is long. And many festivals are going to 2-day formats. So I personally think that's the way to go. And certainly promotion earlier. So there's that commitment, because you're also booking, if you're coming from out of town, you're booking hotels. You want that done earlier too. And then oftentimes people might be arranging summer holidays around that. As well. So I do think, earlier promotion, earlier promotion, I would think might help. And then a different lineup. You don't want to, we can't have the same bands every year, of course. And so you need those big ticket draws. And I think it's easier to, I mean, I don't know, I don't run festivals, but I'm just thinking that to have the quality of headliner that you need, it's easier to have that over 2 nights rather than 3 nights. But just some suggestions.
Thank you. Councillor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. So Trevor, when you look at the 3-day option versus the 2-day option, part of the concern is that this is an excellent economic development opportunity and activity for the city of Cranbrook, but there's an element of risk as well for the city of Cranbrook. And so when you compare the 3-day versus the 2-day option, do you feel like you have enough potential new strategies for the 3-day event that it sort of sufficiently mitigates that risk? Where do you sit on the 3-day versus the 2-day, just in terms of that risk factor?
Mayor Price to Councillor Ray, that's a very good question. I personally, in my history of doing festivals and concerts, I've never done a 2-day. I've only done 3 days events, but that's also what the norm was. We never saw 2-day festivals back in the day. So now 2-day festivals are becoming the norm, where you pack more entertainment and more excitement into 2 days instead of dragging it out over 3 per se. From a professional standpoint, I would be excited to attempt a 2-day festival. I think it could be more cost effective, but from a strictly savings side of things, there's also that detriment of you're losing a 3rd day of alcohol sales. You're losing a 3rd day of vibrancy and economic development in town. So there is a spin-off to go either direction. I just hope that we can, regardless of the decision tonight, if we do decide to go forward, it's putting our best foot forward and proving that this festival can be a success again.
Thank you. Councillor Papa.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So, we have to congratulate Trevor, you and staff for hosting this the last 3 years. I don't know, $280,000 in profit to the city. I realize we had a minor loss this last year, but that's a lot of profit back to the city. It's unfortunate we didn't put it into a pot that we could keep, upping and downing going forward. And also $2.5 million of an economic spinoff. That's a huge success for us. I don't know 2 days versus 3 days. I'm glad no one on council is suggesting scrapping it. That's a good sign. If we did go 2 days, we're still gonna have the same fixed costs, right? The setup, the fencing, the security, I mean, it's pretty much the same cost for setup.
Mayor Price, City Councilor Popoff, there would be minor savings in like a day's worth of security.
Right.
You know, and then a little bit of labor savings for the third concert day. So it would be a minimal, like we would talk, I guess, less than $50,000 of actual savings by only doing a 2-day versus a 3-day.
Would we also be, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, just, I guess the other savings between a 3-day and a 2-day would be your artist fees.
Yes.
So depending on how many artists you ended up with,
So
you
the
know,
artist
11
fees would offset the third ticket day revenues, right? What about sponsorship? Would we risk losing a third sponsorship if we did 2 days versus 3? Would we be asking for less sponsorship to scale it back to 2 days?
Mayor Price, City Councilor Popoff, I don't think we would ever ask for less sponsorship, but that is a possibility of losing sponsors. We do have the majority of our sponsorship packages were 3 years, and they would all be up for renewal.
And they were also for all 3 days. So if we scaled it back to 2 days, would that scale back the price of the sponsorship? I think it would. They're only going to be sponsoring for 2 days. So they'd say, well, we'll pay the 2/3 rate, which is another drop in revenue, less the security. So I think given the track record of the last 3 years, I think let's keep it going with 3. Let's continue that economic spin-off back in our community. It might work that some people just want to go for 1 day, and 1 day now they've got a choice of 3 days, or they want 2 days, the Friday, Saturday, or the Saturday, Sunday. So there's options. If it's not a burnout on staff, I say let's go for all 3. Thanks.
Thank you. Couple of things, I guess. Trevor, is that the same weekend that Fernie has a weekend concert as well? I think they last year and the year before where Fernie had something going on the same weekend, and it's kind of an annual music festival they have there. And obviously, if you look at, you know, who they're drawing, probably, you know, all the Alberta residents that living up on the ski hill and places like that. Is there a possibility to shift the weekend a week or two ahead of where we're at right now with Rock the Kootenays?
Mayor Price, there always is a possibility. It's all going to come down to artist routing at the same time. So we may want different artists that aren't available on that particular weekend. So it may even be beneficial to move weekends. Purely based on 3 years of history. You know, people know when we are, where we are. Knowing that Rock the River in Saskatoon is not happening this year. And that's been a sellout now for 17 years. And this is the first year it's not happening because the host hotel is under renovation. So there's 3,500 Rock the River fans, which could definitely be Rock the Kootenays fans looking for something to do next summer.
Yeah, good. To me, I think I like the idea, Trevor, when we did talk last time, you know, regardless of where we go of a battle of the bands leading up to this of area bands. I think, you know, several weeks before that could be a pretty interesting weekend, maybe a 2-day weekend event that happens in Cranbrook, and, you know, it's going to draw people in from the area. And, you know, whether it's 2 days, 3 days, and we got, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 bands that are going to open up, I think it's a great opportunity to these young bands. So, and, you know, I think that people in the area would come and, you know, to support the area bands as well. So I think that's a really good opportunity you brought forward there. And I think where I am are the 2-day, 3-day, and I'm now looking what you just explained about the dates, you know, artist availability, trends. You know what? I certainly listen to a lot of music, but I don't know anything at all about the music business. That's, you know, and the concert productions, that's your department. You know, I'm just fine leaving it at whatever council I think is in favor for, whether it's 2 days or 3 days, and hand it over to you, or based on your recommendation. I mean, what would your recommendation be right now? What's your feel? 2 or 3 days? Because we know we want it again. I'm pretty sure across the board we do. But what's your sense on that, Trevor?
Mayor Price, talking with other industry professionals, the 3-day is what I would recommend.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm good with that because, obviously they're the experts. You're our experts. So I would leave that in your hands. Okay. Further, Councillor Peabody?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Another question for you, Trevor. Do we have access to like the database of individuals that have purchased tickets? And would it be possible to like reach out to them and maybe just like a short questionnaire as far as like what their thoughts are on the festival and thoughts of improvement and whether they prefer a 2-day or a 3-day?
Mayor Price through Councillor Peabody, that's a great question. And just some backstory on that. So in 3 years of Rock the Kootenays, we've used 3 different ticketing platforms. And due to privacy laws, every time we change ticketing platforms, we lose that marketing ability. So Rock the Kootenays 2026 would be the first Rock the Kootenays on a continuing platform. So all of our past purchasers, Rock the Kootenays or otherwise, will all get insider information, as well as we do have the ability to send out forums and questionnaires and surveys. Yeah.
Councillor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the dialogue on this issue. And I think from my perspective, it sounds like that you've identified opportunities for improvement, opportunities for innovation. And based on that, I'm comfortable voting in favor of the 3-day festival, knowing that, it's going to be a full court press on social media and have that eye to really have a really good turnout and another successful event.
Further? Call the question. This is for a 3-day festival. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Norma.
I would say we've got to get the headliners though,
Yeah.
because that's key.
The last report for council's consideration is from the Finance and Corporate Service Department regarding the Child Care and New Spaces Fund budget amendment. I'll ask staff to report on this. So we have. Floor is yours. Charlotte, are you? No?
No, I'll take it. So I'm very pleased to report that the province of BC has approved our BC Childcare New Spaces grant application to construct a childcare facility in the amount of $13,552,187 to be exact. This facility will create 123 new daycare spaces in Cranbrook. The approval was for the original location selected at Gyro Park. Due to community feedback, we conducted a public survey and asked people to choose between Gyro Park and Balmet Park. The results showed that 54% of the respondents preferred Balmet Park. So with this information, we wrote to the province requesting a location change for the facility, and that request was approved as well. This report is requesting to increase the provincial grant revenue and create a new capital project called Childcare Facility to the 2025 to 2029 5-year financial plan. The installments paid to us will be distributed in 2025 in the amount of $5,420,875. In 2026, the amount would be $6,776,093, and in 2028, the amount would be $1,355,219.
Thanks for the report, Keenan, and thanks again for all your hard work. If it wasn't for you, it's highly unlikely that this opportunity would have happened. So thank you so much again. Can I get a motion? I'll need a mover and seconder that council authorize amending the 2025 to 2029 5-year capital plan by increasing provincial grant revenue in 2025 by $5,420,875, increasing provincial grant revenue in 2026 by $6,776,000 $1,000, yeah, and $93, an increase in provincial grant revenue in 2028 by $1,355,219, and adding a new capital project childcare facility valued at $5,420,875 to the 2025 capital plan, adding a new capital project childcare facility valued at $6,776,093 to the 2026 capital plan, and adding a new capital project childcare facility valued at $1,355,219 to the 2028 capital plan. Mover, please. Councillor Peabody, Councillor Bissett. Discussion, Councillor Stetsky.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm not sure whether it matters or not, but you said 5-year capital plan rather than financial plan. Does that make a difference?
It is the full 5-year financial plan, and that is the way the resolution is written. So,
Yeah.
sure. Thank you for that.
Yep, thank you. Councillor Papa.
Yes, thank you. What happens if there's cost overruns with the construction? Who absorbs the cost overruns, the province or the city?
Sheila Virtual.
So Councillor Popoff through the mayor, just so you're aware, the capital construction cost is a little over $9 million. The rest is contingency built into the budget for exactly that purpose.
So there's $4 million in contingency? Okay, good number. Thank you.
Okay. Further? All in favor?
Yeah, contingency and other costs.
Yep. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. We have 2 administrative updates tonight from our Public Works Department regarding water use regulation stage 3 and to the 2025 Water Smart Ambassador report.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council.
Yep.
Yeah, I got two updates for you today. So the first one, the City of Cranbrook Acting Director of Public Works initiated moving into a stage 3 of the water use regulation bylaw number 4144 on Thursday, October 2nd, to be in effect on Saturday, October 4th. Water elevations in the Phillips Reservoir had dropped to a level of minus 72 inches from full pool, and the creeks were not replenishing enough for the consumption being recorded, as we were experiencing a prolonged heat wave in our area. The nighttime flows from the latest Waterless Wednesday were an average of 883 imperial gallons per minute, and on the following Thursday, the flows jumped to 1,765 imperial gallons per minute. So that we've seen an increase of 882 imperial gallons, so pretty much double. This means customers are required, so this new stage 3 means that customers are required to reduce their outdoor water use to only 1 day per week. Even numbered addresses can water on Thursday only, and odd number addresses can water on Tuesday only between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m., sorry, or 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., not both. And of course, no watering is allowed on any other day of the week. So what has Public Works been doing? We've been actively blowing out city irrigation systems since early September and recommend that now is a good time to have residents and businesses blow out their irrigation systems. We are effectively lowering our drinking water reservoir to water grass that is near dormancy, or near dormancy for the winter. Public Works will continue to monitor reservoir levels and work to increase the water level over the winter to capture as much water as we can. So we're in a better scenario in 2026.
Thanks, Jason.
Any questions?
Councillor Stetsky.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So I'm just curious, heading into winter, how does this compare to past years in terms of the volume of water we still have in the reservoir? Better, worse, about the same?
Councillor Stetsky through the mayor. If you remember from last year, we were pretty much in the same scenario as we're seeing now. Fortunately, we had enough winter snow melt to fill it back up. So, yeah.
Councillor Bissett.
I'll just wait a minute.
We'll have an intermezzo here.
So Muzak.
Sorry about
Um,
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. So what concerns me is we had a pretty good summer as far as, you know, the amount of rain that we had and maintaining levels. And then we've had a drought in the fall, and now we're, you know, in trouble with our water. And so I would think we need to be adjusting our protocol to move to stage 3 earlier. Because personally, I mean, I have a large vegetable garden. There's no need for watering more than once a week at any time. That's what you should do. And I mean, there may be some people who argue with me, whatever, but I think we have excessive water use. We've seen that in the data. And I think we should be moving to those restrictions earlier because, I mean, well, we can only store water for so long. And also, I wanted to ask what is happening with water metering? Because we were told this is a way to reduce consumption. And we have 1 year left of this council. And I thought that was going to be a priority. So maybe if you could give an update on water metering as well. As changing protocols to move to stage 3 earlier, possibility, and then what's happening with water metering.
Councillor Blissett through the mayor. In regards to moving into stage 3 sooner, yeah, that's definitely something that we could look to for next year, see if we could clean that up. We're always looking to, you know, improve our communications and our policies and processes. So yeah, we'll definitely look at that for next year. In regards to the water metering, I don't have much on that one. So that's more of it's outside of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But CAO Furcho, it's not outside of yours, so maybe you could comment on that.
Yeah, and I made a note we'll bring an update to council on that.
Thank you.
Jason, Gold Creek Dam, Gold Creek Dam. The difference it's going to make, percentage wise on our volume right now. I mean, there's no holding capacity. So with that holding capacity, what do we think that would add to our holding capacity to the Phillips Reservoir?
Yeah, great question, Mr. Mayor. I believe the design volume of that one would be about a little over half of what the Phillips Reservoir currently holds right now. So we would be looking at, you know, 150% increase in storage there. So it'd be very substantial and good chance that we would not be faced in water restrictions on the short term anyways.
Yep. Thanks, Jason. Councillor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. You may not have this answer right now, and that's okay, but I'm just wondering when we think we might have a specific timeline in terms of starting a start date and an estimated completion date for the Gold Creek Dam project.
Councillor Ray, through the mayor, you could take that one, Councillor.
So actually, I can't answer that one. So we're looking at doing some of the tree clearing this winter with the intent to begin construction in the spring.
Councillor Papa.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Jason, from an aesthetic point of view, as I'm probably sure you're aware, we're getting a lot of concerns about taste and odor aesthetics with the water right now, and I understand why. But when the new Gold Creek Reservoir comes on, it's going to be much more capacity than to add to Phillips, but also it's going to be colder and it should be better aesthetic water quality feeding into Phillips. So should we anticipate less complaints, concerns about taste and odor as we get into the late summer, early fall?
Councillor Popoff through the mayor, great question. Especially with the levels that we're seeing right now in the Phillips Reservoir, where you're naturally going to have more organic smell and a musty smell to it. So that's one of the reasons why we'd always want to reduce our water consumption. In regards to the Gold Creek, it is higher in elevation. So it would be a little cooler water temperature and it would be more aesthetically pleasing.
Excellent, thank you.
I got a question maybe for Mark. Mark, will we have the projections or the estimates available for the first or second budget session this year for making decisions as far as water meters goes? Cost of water meters to the city.
So your mayor, or Mayor Price, I should say, the, on the water meeting, I just wanted to make sure, like, I think in fairness, I'll just bring a report back. I'll have planning and engineering bring a report back because there's a lot of moving parts behind it with granting programs and some past work we did with council. So rather than try to jump something out, I'll get a report back to you guys.
Thanks, Mark. Further council? Thanks, Jason. Good work.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so for update number 2, again, we're going to be talking about water. So the 2025 Water Smart Ambassador Report. Tanya Nadeau has completed her term as the 2025 Water Smart Ambassador for the City of Cranbrook. The Water Smart program ran from April 29th to September 30th. Over her 5-month contract, Tanya delivered an elementary education program using materials created in partnership with WildSite in 2024. In May and June, Tanya presented the program to 25 classrooms across 6 different elementary schools. Tanya also conducted 9 irrigation assessments during the summer. These included nutrient soil testing, precipitation measurement, and lawn root depth evaluation. The assessments provided recommendations to help improve outdoor water use. Throughout the summer, Tanya attended 6 community events. These events included the Kootenai Children's Festival, the Cranbrook Public Garden, Canada Day celebrations, Open Garden Day, and 2 Cranbrook Farmers Markets. These events featured new and rebranded water conservation program material, including the new H2O Hero mascot. From June through September, the program also focused on community education and outdoor water use monitoring. Tanya partnered with the city's bylaw department to educate residents about the outdoor watering bylaw that was updated in 2024. Tanya monitored water use within city limits at various times. When residents watered outside of permitted hours, Tanya provided information and offered water use restriction magnets to the residents. In cases of repeated violations, the bylaw department conducted investigations and issued tickets where necessary. A total of 196 bylaw reports were submitted. And Tanya has also provided the program for your reading. Any questions?
Thanks, Jason. Council? Good report. Oh, Councilor Pibali.
Thank you, Mayor. Just looking at the recommendations, and Tanya does have a few good ones here. And one of the ones is, which I think Councilor Stetsky maybe mentioned in the past, is the city offering a rebate program for, is it xeriscaping? And I just wonder if this is something that we want staff to possibly look into and come back to council with ideas, if this is a possible program that we should be getting going and how that might look.
Councillor Peabody through the mayor. We have discussed this in the past, and it is something that we are continuing to look at for future rebate programs.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Stetsky.
A follow-up and related question. What about the city? Are we setting aside money to start doing our own xeriscaping? Because it does take money to pull out grass and put other things in its place. So I think we need an actual program if we're going to make progress as a city.
Councillor Stetsky through the mayor, great question. That is something that we have talked about in Public Works about how we could not reduce the green spaces, but how we could better manage them, especially the ones that we can't get to all the time.
And I would just like to thank Tanya and acknowledge the job she did. She did an excellent job. I know this firsthand. I was watering on an off day and I was not home, and Tanya knocked on the door and my wife answered, says, yes. She says, my wife said she couldn't believe how polite she was. And excuse me, but you're watering off on your off day. And she's explaining the days and everything. And my wife says, it was just unreal. But I had a new piece of grass, pardon me, I had a new piece of grass on the side. So I did have a permit. She wasn't aware. And all she did, can show me verify the permit. So anyways, she was really good at her job. And I know a number of people that made complaints this year. I think probably this year more than ever that I've heard is neighbors reporting something in the neighborhood, you know, that people are getting that serious about, you know, water hogs and overuse and the reporting. She dealt with everything she was made aware of. And from what I understand, she just had that, you know, that ability to deal with it, you know, so well, you know, so excellent, you know, when you look at the type of people we're looking for with you know, corporate customer service. So thank you very much to Tanya. Yeah. We have two pieces of correspondence tonight. The first one is from the Rotary Club. Can I get a motion to receive the correspondence and forward it to staff for review, please? Councilor Bissett, Councilor Stetsky. Discussion. Councilor Stetsky.
Thank you, Mayor. So the origin of this request comes because I do love to get out on my bicycle and I often ride the Rotary Trail through Cranbrook. And of course,
Councilor Ray, Councilor Bissett, discussion, all in favor, opposed, that's carried, thank you. That brings us to Mayor and Council's reports and inquiries. Let's start with Councilor Popoff tonight.
Go first. Thank you, Mayor. So three things. I'm noticing on the UBCM website that they're going to be leading consultation processes on the draft of the Heritage Conservation Act for local governments. And from what we learned at UBCM, this is something that we definitely need to learn more about and rally, I think, the whole regional district representatives as well to learn more about the draft Heritage Conservation Act and what those implications might be, pro and con, so that we have a better understanding going forward and make our own comments. Secondly, after a bit of a hiatus, I'm pleased to hear that the president of the Cranbrook Downtown Business Association is back in business. They're going to be starting back up again, which is great news for the city. And one of the tasks they're going to be doing is engaging with the community on Cranbrook's downtown revitalization bylaw. So this will be a great way to get some energy going in those two zones where we have the downtown revitalization bylaw going. So that's a welcome thing. And today I saw two e-bikes going up the new bike path at McPhee Road. I don't know if a pedal bike can make it up there, but it's certainly nice to see activity on McPhee Road bike path. Interesting, and a little bit to my surprise, it's wide enough. I could actually drive my truck up there. It's that wide. I mean, we could actually host Grand Fondo, and that could be the exit route in and out of Cranbrook. It's so wide, you could host Grand Fondo. So I didn't know if that was an intended consequence, but it looks really good. Thank you.
Councilor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. Here we are having council meetings 2 weeks in a row, so it feels like we were just talking about a few of these things, but I was honored and pleased to attend the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation walk to Crying Hill with a number of other members of Cranbrook City Council on September 30th. So thank you very much to our friends and neighbors in the community of Acom for organizing that event. It was significant and yeah, pleasure to be there and very powerful reminder. This afternoon, I was pleased to attend the 50th anniversary at the College of the Rockies, along with Councillor Stetsky. So I've been in Cranbrook about 30 years, so I wasn't here right at the beginning, but it was really neat to see some of the memorabilia and photos, and there were some folks we know from the city who were in photos from years ago. So congratulations to the College of the Rockies on their 50th anniversary. It's an important asset to our community and our region. And I'd like to congratulate Cranbrook Tourism, now Visit Cranbrook, on their rebranding. Yeah, it looks great, and I know they put a lot of work into it. And although Cranbrook Tourism has been around for a number of years, I think it still feels relatively new in our community. And I wonder if there might be an opportunity for management just to connect with Visit Cranbrook and see if there's any crossover with marketing that the city does. Because years ago, we did not have Visit Cranbrook, and now we do. So this is an operational item, so I'd just throw it out there for management's consideration, that I just wonder if there might be an opportunity for a conversation. And the reason I ask is, of course, we're coming up to budget. And when we look at our budget, as with everyone else's budget, but certainly with ours, every dollar counts. So if we have a relatively new body in the community, which has a new revenue stream that did not exist in decades past, I just think it behooves us to have those conversations and if there's any opportunities for us to work together, and if they have funding that's specific to marketing our community, and if we're doing some things that fit with that, it'd be great if we could work together.
Good point, Councillor Ray. CO Virtual.
So Mayor Price through to Councillor Ray, just so you're aware, last week, Thursday, Visit Cranbrook held their board meeting right here in this room, and staff attended, and so a lot of exactly what you talked about did occur and has been reoccurring since on email. So good point, we are on it.
Councillor Bassett.
Nothing to report.
Councillor Peabody.
Nothing to report.
Councillor Stetsky.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So just wanted to add a little bit on National Truth and Reconciliation Day. It was a rainy day, and it was great to see hundreds of people participate in the walk to Crying Hill that day. And it does show, I think, the growing awareness and appreciation for what was really quite a dark part of our history in residential schools. So I was very pleased to see the turnout that day. I also attended the speed dating with Tunaha businesses last week out at St. Eugene. They now have a business covering just about any aspect of work that we might need done as a city. And they have put together a little booklet, I guess, that lists all of those cities. And I've asked them to send it to us so that I can pass it on to CAO Virtual, which lists all the businesses and what they're doing. Today was the 50th anniversary of the College of the Rockies, and I said there, and I'll say it here as well, that when you look at how important colleges are to ensuring that we have people with the right skill set going forward, it's quite concerning that, of course, prior to COVID, College of the Rockies had almost 500 international students between all of their campuses here, which raises a considerable amount of revenue for the college. That has now dropped, and I don't have the exact number, but I know it's certainly fewer than 200 international students. There's actually a quota given to colleges, and I know we're not anywhere near the quota given to the College of the Rockies, and that's because Canada's brand around international students and its support has really taken a hit in the last year. So the revenue drop is very serious. Selkirk College has laid off 55 people in the last couple of weeks over in Nelson. They had almost 700 or so international students, and they're now missing that revenue. So if we want to build a stronger economy in British Columbia, we need to have strong colleges producing the right skill set to make sure that they can drive the economy forward. So at some point, council may be asked to support the college in some form in terms of getting replacement funding from the provincial government. But it's a really, really important, I hope that piece is there, that connection between needing skilled, qualified people to build a strong future and the funding for colleges to make that happen really needs to be in place going into the future.
Yeah, the Cranbrook Bucks had their season home opener this weekend, and they held a tailgate fundraiser for Fresh Start, a new community nonprofit. So I'd like to thank Nathan and the Cranbrook Bucks for their community support. With that, I have nothing else to report. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, please. Councillor Bassett, Councillor Ray, all in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you, guys.